I am Simon Peter, a disciple of our Lord Jesus. I'll never forget the sound of the wind that night, the waves crashing, the fear in our boat, and then his voice.
Come.
I stepped out. I walked on water, but I took my eyes off him, and I began to sink. That day had already felt like a miracle wrapped in sunlight. Thousands had gathered on the hillside, men, women, children. They were tired, hungry, and desperate for something more than food. They came for him, for his words, for his touch, for the hope he carried with him like a living flame. We, the 12, had grown concerned as the sun began to lower. There was no village nearby, no market, just open land and empty hands. I remember looking at Jesus and saying, "Lord, send the crowds away so they can go into the villages and buy food for themselves." But he turned and said something that caught me off guard.
They don't need to go away. You give them something to eat.
We didn't have much, just 5 loaves, 2 small fish. A boy had offered them, probably his entire meal. I remember the way Jesus took those humble offerings, lifted them toward the sky, gave thanks, and then began to break them apart over and over and over, and the food never ran out. We handed out baskets of bread and fish, running back and forth through the crowd. Laughter filled the air. People embraced one another, mouths full, eyes wide with wonder. When everyone had eaten, we collected the leftovers, 12 baskets. One for each of us, as if he were reminding us, "I will always provide." But then, as the excitement grew, the people began whispering, talking of making him king, right then and there. It was like a fire building, spreading, threatening to consume the true purpose of his mission. Jesus didn't say much. He simply turned to us and said,
"Get into the boat. Go ahead of me to the other side."
He stayed behind, dismissed the crowds, and went up the mountain alone. I didn't question it. We obeyed. The Sea of Galilee was calm when we set out, but not for long. The storm crept in slowly, as it always does. The winds whispered at first, then howled. Waves began to slap against the side of the boat, harder and harder. The sky turned black, as if night had arrived too early. Lightning flashed behind the clouds like distant explosions. We rowed with all our strength. Our arms ached, our backs burned. But it felt like we were going nowhere, trapped in the middle of the sea, miles from land, the storm tossing us like a toy. It was sometime between 3 and 6 in the morning, the darkest hours before dawn, when I saw him. At first I thought my eyes were deceiving me, a figure walking toward us, not swimming, walking, on the water. The others saw it too, and fear overtook us.
"It's a ghost!"
Someone screamed. My heart pounded in my chest like a war drum. The wind whipped through my hair, salt stung my eyes, and the waves roared. But then we heard his voice. That voice I knew better than my own thoughts.
"Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid."
Time seemed to stop. Through the wind and rain, that voice calmed something inside me. I stood up in the boat, the others still gripping the sides in fear, and I shouted back through the storm, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." He said one word,
"Come."
I stepped over the edge of the boat. The water felt solid beneath my feet, impossible, yet real. I took another step, then another. My eyes were locked on him. Jesus. The storm still raged, but it no longer mattered. There was only him and me. Each step defied everything I knew. Wind tore at my clothes, water splashed my ankles. But somehow, I stood. I walked toward him. My heart raced, not from fear, but from awe. I was walking on water, but then I looked away, just for a moment. The wind felt stronger than before, the waves higher. My thoughts betrayed me. What am I doing? This isn't possible. The sea could swallow me whole. And in that moment of doubt, I began to sink. The cold water swallowed my legs. I gasped, I flailed. Panic gripped me. The sea, once solid beneath my feet, gave way, and I cried out with everything I had, "Lord, save me." Before the words even left my mouth fully, his hand was there, strong, steady, sure. He pulled me up as if I weighed nothing. The storm still howled, but in his grasp I felt no fear. He looked into my eyes, not with anger, but with compassion, with understanding.
"You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?"
He walked me back to the boat, and as soon as we stepped in, the wind stopped. The sea grew still, like glass. We sat in stunned silence, dripping wet, hearts pounding, but no one said a word until we fell to our knees in that tiny boat.
Truly, we whispered, you are the Son of God.
In that moment, we didn't see just a teacher, or a healer, or even a miracle worker. We saw the one who commands the storm, the one who walks above our fears, the one who reaches out when we're drowning and pulls us back into grace.